Now, when we study the book of Revelation, it becomes apparent that there's a 7-year period that's dealt with in the book of Revelation. People often refer to this as Daniel's 70th week, because in the book of Daniel it's referred to as a week, or a period of 7 years. Well, that period is divided in half. In the midst of the week, there's a major event called the Abomination of Desolation. That's where the Antichrist enters into the temple and states that he is God. That's where he receives the deadly wound and so forth. So when we're looking at chapter 11 and we're dealing with a period of 1,260 days, 42 months, 3.5 years, the first thing we want to ask ourselves is, are we dealing with the first 3.5 years, or are we dealing with the second 3.5 years? Well, if you read the whole chapter, we'll get to it a little bit later in the sermon, but we see that the chapter ends with the 7th trumpet sounding. And we see that when the 7th trumpet sounds, jump down to verse 15 if you would, it says, "And the 7th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever." So, when we get toward the end of chapter 11, we see that the 7th trumpet sounds. And in chapter 10, he had said that when the 7th trumpet sounds, he said the mystery of God should be finished as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. And then we see the millennial reign of Christ beginning, because it says that the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ. So basically, it's clear that what we're dealing with in chapter 11 is the second half of the 7 years, the second half of Daniel's 70th week.